Welcome to this week's episode of the Pull List Examiner. This is my weekly video where I take a look at the top 3 comics that I am looking forward to reading when it comes to New Comic Book Day. And New Comic Book Day this week is going to be January 17th, 2024. You can also find all the comics that I'm going to be picking up from my LCS in the description of the video below. This week there is a little bit bigger list than the last few weeks, so that's kind of cool. Got more reads. It also makes picking the top 3 a little bit harder, but let's take a look at what I came up with for this week for my top 3. Starting off this week with number 3, I'm going with Star Wars: The High Republic, issue number 3. This is actually from volume 3 or season 3, depending on how you look at it. We are into that 3rd volume of comics from Marvel when it comes to the new High Republic era of story writing. We are actually seems to be coming to nearing an end of this huge High Republic phase that the Star Wars writers have been doing. This specific series right now is being written by Kevin Scott, who's also done some of the books, and I think from a speculation point of view, if you have not been keeping up with the Star Wars series, we are getting closer to seeing more and more details getting released about the new Acolyte series from Disney Plus. It seems like a lot of the books, comics I mean, are tightly tied to those shows and movies when it comes to whether or not their value goes up. And sure enough, we have 3 volumes now of the High Republic where all sorts of new characters were introduced, and so far in the Acolyte, I think they've only confirmed 1 character. I think it's Vanestra Rowe is the only totally confirmed character. Everything else, they have very generic descriptions that are out there floating around on the internet right now, such as Jedi Master or Jedi Padawan. So we don't really know who will show up in that TV show, but it could actually impact some of the comics' value, make them go up if you're a collector out there and interested in that. There's definitely speculation around the series. I'm looking forward to that show when it gets released to kind of see some of these new characters come to life. This series has been great, and that's why it's on my list this week in my top 3. And at number 2 this week, we've got What's the Furthest Place from Here, issue number 17. This is from Image Comics and is from the creators Alex Rosenberg and Tyler Boss on the artwork. This has been a very weird and strange series with lots of, I'll call them side quests, as different characters have done different things, but there really has been a focus on one specific character as they have went through this entire series. And the big mystery of the series, where it started off, was why in this post-apocalyptic setting are only groups of children showing up? Where'd all the adults go? And in the last issue, we finally got the reveal of what's going on in this futuristic post-apocalyptic setting. There's some weird people who are kind of in control that still hasn't been fully explained yet, and I don't want to give too much details away if you read it. But if you are looking for some interesting futuristic sci-fi, I get kind of vibes of like Mad Max on this series, you might also be interested in What's the Furthest Place from Here. And at number 1 this week, I'm going with Phantom Road, issue number 8. This is from Image Comics and author Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire has a variety of series out right now, most of which seem to kind of have some hook within the horror genre. I'm also reading Fish Flies. I know the Bone Mythos is another series that's also been popular, but Phantom Road has been a favorite title of mine. I was a big X-Files fan back in the 90s, and I get that kind of impression. It reminds me here of X-Files, maybe like an extended episode or something, but really you have a federal agent who is tracking down some very unusual activity. And so far, even though I can't explain everything that's going on, it appears that trucker stops are portals to another dimension. That's pretty much the summary of what seems to be going on in Phantom Road. And I don't know if that's true yet, but that's at least what I'm reading into it so far. And if you haven't checked out this series and you're a Jeff Lemire fan, I would say, hey, go read this. This is probably something you're going to be interested in. I really like what Jeff Lemire does with his titles. I was a big Sweet Tooth fan. Once it hit Netflix, I became I guess I jumped on the bandwagon. But this is another definite comic that I could see being turned into a TV series, but really it's just been a fun sci-fi filled comic title that I've enjoyed, and it's #1 on my list this week. Thanks for tuning in this week to the Pullist Examiner and checking out my top 3. And like I said at the beginning of the video, you can always find all the comics I'm picking up from the LCS in the description of the video below. Remember to like and subscribe, and remember to read them, bag them, and board them, and we'll see you next time.